Good afternoon, Year 3. How are we? Slightly different filming location today, because it's all go in the Tyrrell household today. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're having fun. I've heard from a lot of you about things that you've been doing, and I'm really pleased to see you're taking ownership of your learning in different ways. If you go on the website, you'll see what other people have been doing. It's really, really good. I've seen quite a few of you have been contributing to the NHS Nightingale Appeal for pictures, which is really, really good. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you Google Rainbows for Nightingale, it'll come up. This will be my last reading before Easter, which is a little bit sad. But we've only got that much of the book to go, so that's good too. We are on chapter 19, and we have just heard about Grimm's sabotage of the plant competition. He's been using chemicals and not making it organic. So let's see what's happened next. Chapter 19, Revenge of the Monstrous Marrow. Just when we thought we'd never get close to Liam's dragon, his shed went and blew up. Or that's what it looked like had happened as we peered over the hedge on our way to school. Planks of wood littered the ground and flower beds. A giant, and I mean giant, beanstalk had burst through the shed, smashing the walls and lifting the roof clean off. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is weird. Have we jumped into some sort of fairy story? Are you telling me Jack's going to leap out with his fistful of magic beans and we're all going to hear a mighty voice like thunder rumbling fee, fi, fo, fum and all that stuff? Well, no. This isn't some kind of fairy story, and we weren't immediately thinking we were going to be gobbled up by a giant. But sometimes real life can be stranger than stories. We knew that from the bizarre facts Ted regularly told us. That thing is humongous, said Kai, looking up at the beanstalk. I know. Those beans are as big as my arm, I replied. What is going on? Kat said. First colossal sunflowers, and now beanstalks. I've heard of bamboo growing a metre a day, but this is ridiculous, said Ted. He looked thoughtful. There's a redwood tree in America called Hyperion, which is 115.92 metres tall. Maybe it's a bamboo bean redwood hybrid. What it is weird, said Kai. Watch out, Kat yelled. Incoming pod. And we all scattered as huge beans started raining from the sky and thumping onto the ground around us. Show you the picture of the beanstalk there. One thing's for sure, Liam is going to have to find somewhere new to hide his dragon, Kat called. Which means we need to keep a very close eye on him, I replied. A very close eye indeed. Since the art cupboard episode, we hadn't dared take the dragons back to school. But now, things were different. We didn't want to be separated. Crystal and Flicker were small enough to hide in our rucksacks, and Ted and Kai decided Sunny and Dodger should stay in the trees that lined the playground. We knew by now they wouldn't go far from the rest of us. Dodger was a master of staying out of sight. I just hoped Sunny would smell Mr. Battenberg's school dinners and go looking for a snack. When Liam appeared in the cloakroom, we all watched him like hawks. He scowled at us and threw his bag into the corner. Well, at least we know he's not keeping it in there, Kat said. He better not be after doing that, said Kai fiercely. Miss Logan appeared in the doorway and ushered us in. All morning, Liam kept looking out of the window, or rather, trying to look out. It was a bit difficult these days, with his enormous sunflower blocking our view. Even so, we all managed to see Mr. Peters, the reception teacher. He was coming down the playground from the school vegetable garden, followed by his class, and struggling under the weight of a monstrous marrow. It was so big, he could hardly see where he was going, until it exploded, and then he could see just fine. Standing there, splattered in mushy marrow, he got quite a cheer. He even took a bow, but then that's the kind of teacher he is. Liam was the only one not focused on Mr. Peters. He was staring off down the playground. Something weird is going on around here, Kai said, and I bet I know who's at the bottom of it all. At lunchtime, rather than bombing off to play football, Liam loitered near Miss Olive, the midday assistant. Every time he thought no one was looking, he peered through the gate of the school vegetable garden. You know, Liam's taking a very keen interest in gardening all of a sudden, Kat hissed. We need to get in there before he doesn't have a proper look, I said. Our chance came in PE. Whilst the rest of the class jogged down the far end of the field, we hung back and then ducked into the vegetable garden. You know when you were little and you wondered what it would be like to shrink really small? To be like Tom Thumb or Mrs. Pepperpot or Alice in Wonderland when she was tiny? Well, when we opened the gate, we knew how it felt, because we were surrounded by giant, supersized veg. The tomatoes were as big as our heads, the beans as long as our arms, and you could have made a hammock out of our rhubarb leaves. Mr. Peters hadn't even chosen the biggest marrow because Ted was able to climb onto that and sit on it like he was riding a horse. Good grief, look at this place, Kat exclaimed, while Ted galloped his way to victory in the race against a giant turnip. And then we saw the grey shape emerging from behind some bonkersly big broccoli. Liam's dragon had grown even more since I'd last seen it, and as we stood there, it let out a green jet as a row of lettuces. Incredulous, we watched the frilly green leaves stretching until they were more than doubled in size. We all looked at each other, mouths gaping. Well, at least now we know for sure who's behind Liam's super sunflower and Mr. Peters' exploding marrow, Kai said, and that giant beanstalk. And remember Mrs. Battenberg's herbs in the school canteen? No wonder you couldn't get them in the pots, Kat, said Ted. Imagine getting served one of those vegetables, Kai said. I have enough trouble with a few carrots. Your Lolly would think those really were trees if she saw that broccoli, Kat laughed. Well, whatever that dragon is doing to them, our tree could do with a bit of it. Shame it can't make that grow, I said sadly. It was looking even worse this morning. Kat held up the withered remains of one of the bean plants. I don't know about that. Doesn't look like these supersizing is doing much for the plants. Watch your head, Kai said, and we all ducked as another green jet shot over us. The dragon flapped past us and settled on a bucket of compost. It eyed us warily. Come on, now's our chance, said Ted. Let's grab it. Slowly, Kat said, reaching out to hold Ted's back. We don't want to scare it. But Ted had already lunged out. Alarmed, the dragon puffed up, its scales and spines sticking out, the lime now showering beneath the green. It flapped up into the air and another green jet shot out. This one was coming straight for Ted. He dived behind the enormous marrow just as the jet hit it. We watched as the marrow grew and then burst spectacularly. The dragon disappeared over the hedge into the park beyond, and we all scrambled towards Ted. He was scraping marrow mush from his hair, his face screwed up in disgust. This stuff reeks, he moaned. I grinned, relieved that it was only the marrow that had been turned to mush. Now we know where it is, Kai said. How are we planning on catching it? It was a good question. It didn't look like this dragon was going to come quietly. So, how are they going to catch the dragon? Email me. Let me know what you think. Keep well, stay safe, and I will see you probably after Easter now with the next one. Okay, see you later. Bye.